Ah. Hello, flat Earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. Just Sunday afternoon here in Phuket. I'm in our little hut in the garden. It's kind of cozy. Hi, sorry, lost the connection there. Don't know what's happening. Maybe I just need to get. Maybe I'm at the limits of the Wi-Fi. Not sure. So let me just find a place to put this. Or I'll just hold it here for now. Alrighty, how's it all going? Yeah. As I was saying, it's fairly nice weather in Phuket right now because it's kind of cool. So maybe this isn't streaming so well, I don't know. Let's see how it goes. If there's anyone in there in the chat wants to let me know how it's going, how the feed's going, that would be great. And never a dull moment, huh? In the Flat Earth community. The topic is just getting more audiences, isn't it? It's growing and growing and growing. Of course, as it does, you know, it gets more and more contentious, and you've got various cantankerous individuals all across the board. They're kind of saying their bit. But that's what I find so fascinating about this whole topic is because it reveals just how people think, I suppose, and the problems we have thinking. Oh, hello, Uncommon Sense, good to see you, man. All right, okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Who's that? Yeah, my dojo. Yeah, all right. Nice beard. I just literally haven't bothered because I've just been, you know, head down doing work. So yeah, it's kind of like get up, work on the computer, and then, you know, just life takes over, doesn't it? So yeah. Hello, Divergent Droid. All right, yeah. It's nice to have some wind actually, because it's a rarity here. Usually it's very still. So yeah, I'll just give you a quick view there. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. So this is just a little hut. By the way, if I don't know, these kind of bamboo huts, they're really well made, yeah. And the people that make them actually will flat pack them and send them. They've sent them to Germany before, like for some guy that wanted to put them in some kind of resort. So I'll just give you a little look at it from the outside, just to show you that. All right, yeah. So pretty cool, huh? It's really nice to have in the garden thing. Got a bit of a solar setup there for the lights in the evening, yeah. But it's really nice to have, yeah. And it, you know, it rains, but this stays dry, so it's just literally just a grass roof. And the way they weave it, just it keeps the rain out, yeah. So you don't need any of this artificial material. It's all natural, yeah. And these very solid bamboo, you know. I've often thought about maybe, you know, trying to export, you know, bamboo, you know, bamboo furniture, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, it's maybe an opportunity for anyone that wants to, that might have somewhere to put this stuff. Okay, I'm going to try and get in the hut bit because I've got the fan in here, and see if. Flat thumbs, yeah. Gosh, my glasses. Hang on a second. You know, the glasses I use are kind of like crappy plastic reading glasses from the market. Expensive ones always get broken, so I never get to catch these live shows. Oh, great. Okay, well, nice. It's glad to have you in here. Yeah. All right. Yeah, where were we? Lots going on, eh? Lots going on in the whole on the Flat Earth scene. It's quite incredible. I think it's quite funny. It's quite amusing what's going on with the final experiment now. I don't trust any of what's going on. I mean, it's just yeah, you can see now they're actually trying to raise money. They're claiming he's claiming he's been scammed by a flat earther. So all of this has been an attempt to discredit flat Earth. I don't see anything genuine. I can't really tell what's really going on. But now he's trying to raise several £1,000s, dollars, sorry, because apparently he's been scammed. You know, I mean, if you, whatever. So, you know, but there's so many other things they could be doing with that money to prove it, if they really wanted to prove a point, rather than just you know, try and prove a model with the sun. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So whatever, you know. I mean, imagine what you could do with like £30,000 dollars, and you know, to kind of you know, whether you need to hire a plane and a pilot and do some measurements, you know, across 10 miles or something, and you know, yeah. So I've been accused of having dyscalculia before. I had to look it up when I heard that word, but it's considered a disability, a mental disability, not being able to work at all with numbers, and not being able to appreciate amounts and things like that. So that's a claim or an accusation that's been made by a certain globe Earth, anti-flat earther, I should say, because they have this idea that just because you can do some, you know the maths, you know how to calculate radians and things like that, or perceive that a certain distance across the surface is part of a curved Earth, and that's just all perception. You know, the Earth is level as we measure it. That's never been falsified just because someone comes up with a perception of turning distances into the outside of a circle. That doesn't prove anything. You know, the globe has never ever been proven. No one ever discovered curvature. Yeah. So, you know, of course, you know, these are the kinds of accusations that they'll tell you you're stupid, you're dumb. And again, that's why I find this topic so fascinating, is because people just get so passionate about defending their belief in the globe. Or of course, when you realise that you're not on a globe, you can become very passionate about wanting to let everyone know, you know, hey, here's the truth. You know, that's you just want to convey that truth. But after a while, you also realise that that's kind of ineffective anyway, because people will reach these conclusions in their own time. I mean, people find their own truths in many ways, right? They slowly realize through life experience that you know, we get lied to. Liars are not too much of a problem. That are really kind of sometimes in your face, and you know, can get quite kind of violent, I suppose, abusive. Whereas personally, for me, it's been a journey to separate from those feelings. Yeah, this whole truth-seeking journey to me is about you know, not getting caught up in the anger, in identifying with things, in beliefs. Yeah, isn't that the thing? So, you know, jumping from one belief to another, and you know, I can understand there's of course there's this pressure, and there's this desire to come up with an alternative. Well, if it's not a globe, what is it? What's it doing? And of course that's part of the journey as well, just trying to work out what's really going on here. And then eventually you realize that, well, it doesn't matter what you might think about this place, how it works, why it's here, how it got here. Ultimately, true freedom is being in the moment and giving up all of that suffering that goes with trying to worry about convincing other people and you know, holding on to any kind of belief, I suppose. Yeah, the idea is to detach from beliefs, and there are some things we just have to kind of accept. And that's not a defeatist attitude, I don't think. It's actually very, very difficult. It takes a lot of work to get to that point where you're not angered, you're not trying to play this game where you're trying to be better than other people or claim some kind of superiority. Yeah, it's really more a case of, you know, you learn from your own experiences, right? But you also learn from the, what's that, who we got a comment from? Mindy, is that, I'm sorry, Misty, hi. Is it on my end only? The stuttering seems fine now. Oh, okay, sorry. And Zane, is that? Hi. Hello there. Divergent Droid. The only thing we can do is stick to what we can prove and take everything else with a grain of salt. Yeah, nicely said, man. That's very true. Yeah. Again, you know, it's worth repeating because there's a lot of contention going on, many bones of contention all over the place. But you know, that's it. Theories and ideas and postulations. It's cool. It's fine. It's no problem. But yeah, I just see people kind of falling into these certain ways of thinking and then trying to impress that on others. So, oh, you know, this is, it's like, just because you don't believe certain conclusions that people have reached, it doesn't mean that you're against them. It doesn't mean that you're claiming other things. Yeah. Okay, there's a message for review, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Okay, I'm going to show that. Okay. Someone says, sorry, that's Dojo's Divergent Droid said, yes, that is true. Where I am at, though, is to try and see beyond the veil. And to do that, we must discard the propensity for proof. Renegade, hello there. Peace. Yeah. So dyscalculia is one of those accusations that's been thrown at me anyway, and maybe just in flat earthers in general by, you know, particular globe zealots that will never actually kind of do anything to prove the curve, to falsify the globe. They'll just make claims that oh, flight plans prove the globe, or just because I insist that you refer to level as being down towards the center of a sphere, and I ignore reality, then you know, it's just funny. When you see that, it's like, come on, you know, if you want to show some kind of intelligence, then accept that one or the other can be an interpretation, and then, as you say, Divergent Droid, go out and look for the truth, prove which one can be falsified, so or not. So the other word is what was it? Dysrationalia. So this is interesting because it's actually a mindset, I suppose, or something that happens with the mind, where even intelligent people, even people that have a lot of smarts, and they might have a high IQ, they might have a high position, they might be very successful, they still have difficulty sometimes rationalizing things, so dysrationalia. Yeah, they cannot necessarily think logically, and you know, it's just especially when you have the globe and people think or believe they're thinking logically because of the background of you know, the whole solar system idea that's just been impressed upon us since early childhood. So, you know, when they talk about the Earth being a planet, they just consider it logical, you know, because of all these little breadcrumbs in the background that have been left. So, but you know, you see again smart people falling for tricks and scams all the time, don't you? Because they fail to see themselves from an external perspective. Of course, in Thailand, you know, it's well known for old codgers coming here and hooking up with some young girl or something. And of course, they're delusional. Really, they you know, they're surprised when they get done over, when they find out that it wasn't really love. And I've seen many people come here because they've been successful. I remember there was a Cathay Pacific pilot. It's funny, he was, you know, they make good money, Cathay Pacific pilots, and he opened up a kind of sports bar thing in this very expensive marina, and it was really, really nice, but just never ever did the business. And so he ploughed all his money into that. He'd retired, but eventually had to go back to flying again, because just all his money was drained, you know, just on a project that, you know, you look at it from an outside perspective, you think that's not going to work. Hey, I'm guilty of trying to run restaurants and them not working out, but there you go. We've never really invested huge amounts in what we've done, but it's all a learning process. Yeah. What's that? Gosh, I'm so sorry about my glasses. Hang on. It's like asking the question, what happens to us when we die? There is no amount of proof for anything we state. The only way we can what belies beyond death is to discern with intellect. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, you know, and of course we spend a lot of our lives we spend preoccupied with that, trying to. But it's funny, really, isn't it? Life is kind of preparation for death. That's quite a thing there, isn't it? You know, so maybe this is it. Maybe death isn't. Well, who knows? Who knows? Again, we could speculate for forever. Yeah. What do we do while we're here? What do we do? But again, what may be more important is what we do during our lifetime, in those moments where we have opportunities to be humane. Yeah. So Dojo says, and so it is with the nature of reality, this realm, what lies beyond the borders. Yeah. And this is it, you know, when you try to talk about the physics of this place and how it could work, we just have no idea. Of course, we've got a basic understanding of the physics and what we see happening here, but you know, something or somehow this place was created. We have no idea how. Yeah, we just have stories. Uncommon sense. Wait, who's planning to have who's claiming to have been scammed? Will Duffy is claiming to have been scammed by a flat earther, because apparently the story is that because remember someone said they put up money for another flat earther to go. Of course, this is desperate. They're desperate to get these flat earthers on board. They haven't really got anyone that's truly committed yet. And so after a couple of days ago, there was he did this thing where he voted on who was going to, out of these applicants, who was going to go to Antarctica with a ticket paid for by this whoever. It's an anonymous person. It's all based on hearsay, you know. It's like, oh, someone's offered to pay for a flat earther to go, so come on, put your bids in. And then they did this thing, so announced it a couple of days ago, and then apparently, according to Will, this anonymous person that said they were going to put up the money has said no. So But it's just, you know, I mean, as I said, you know, you see it all the time here. These kinds of stories. You meet people that try that all the time. Oh, I've been robbed, I've been scammed. Please help me. Yeah. But really, they're just the scammer. Yeah. So yeah, as I kind of said in a previous video about the whole final experiment thing, it's just yeah, there's nothing authentic about what they're doing there. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what the live chat format is. I did. I don't know. What is it? YouTube told me just the other day that I can actually do the super chats on here. So I've activated that. I've never used it before because it wasn't available in Thailand. So, you know, I'm not sure if having activated that makes a difference to the chat. I honestly don't know. What's that? Uncommon sense. It's always the scammers that cry foul the loudest when exposed. Yeah, well, this is it. I think I put in the description, didn't I? You know, it's a jungle out there, right? I mean, that's the thing. It's we get lulled into this false sense of security, don't we? But you know, living life is like any other animal that goes around, and you become prey from predators, and it's just like any other animal. If you look at any other animal, whether it's a bird or a dog or whatever, you know, they're paying attention to everything that's going on. You know, the sounds, the sights, the smells. They are in the now. They're really, that's where they are. They might spend time thinking. Of course, dogs and stuff, they dream and things. They might think about stuff, but they're very, you know, they're not necessarily so preoccupied with that. They're not necessarily preoccupied with worry and concepts like we are. Of course, an animal might be afraid of something that it was once hurt by, so that's understandable. But yeah, I mean, we spend our time worrying and stuff. So sorry, yeah, that took me too far away from the version droid. That's kind of. Oh, Brian's Logic. Ah, that reminds me. Okay, yes, Brian's Logic. He did a good video the other day. Here's a good example. You know these things, yeah. These compasses that you put in cars where they just kind of, you know, they stay in place and then they float around in this bubble of water, yeah. So you get what these are, yeah. Okay, so something like this, it doesn't matter where if I traveled with this from you know, from here to England or wherever, then that level would never change. It would always be horizontal, yeah. And that's what I mean when the flat Earth has never been falsified, because it is literally level all the way. The pilots know this, and this is why, you know, if you go and check out a couple of recent videos by Brian's Logic, he's talked about the gyroscopes and the artificial horizons, and really put it down there in a very logical way. I'll just say goodbye to my kids. See you later. Enjoy. All right. Cheers. They're off to work. They're off to sell cookies at the market. So the neighbour runs a cookie thing, and so she's enlisted the two teenagers help. So they're earning a crust, doing some weekend work. Yeah. So they can pay for their own internet and stuff like that now. It's buffering for you. Sorry about that. Oh, sorry. Time jumping. Oh, what's that? Uncommon sense? YouTube is constantly trying to get me to verify my 7-year-old channel with some personality certificate information. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's a good one, Mike. I would like to know how far the globers think the clouds are from the moon. Well, they think it's about what? The moon's about 250,000 miles away or something. Oh, here's another one, Mike. Sorry, I missed that chat just now. Mike says, I was looking at the moon the other day and noticed how clouds around are, yeah, brightly lit and through the clouds. Must be rather close for the. Yeah, this is it. That's one of the things that makes me wonder whether it's a reflection, a projection, or what it is. Because yeah, it's all, everything we see is local. You can look up at the moon and see just that spot lit up, right? And then, but then someone else thousands of miles away could also be looking up at the moon and seeing the same there, you know, that it locally lit for them. It's fascinating. And again, you know, I spent months and months and months thinking about the moon. You know, you lose sleep over this stuff, don't you? But then what conclusions can you come to? It's just, it literally is beyond us. And once you look at reality, you realize that there's this misconception, isn't it, that flat earthers just deny science. It's like, well, no, I mean, the theoretical science that we're given about gravity and vacuums and things like that just doesn't fit with our reality. And you realize that even if you can't tell necessarily that NASA is telling porcupines, well, it becomes just obvious from reality, just actually accepting and observing reality. Yeah, it's just it's a level plane. It's level all the way. So yes, this thing. Yeah, I mean, so the glober will tell you that you're stupid because you are unable to perceive that this goes around a ball. Yeah, but stays level as it goes around the ball, and that's their definition of level. Of course, we understand the concept. There's no problem understanding the concept whatsoever. Yeah, but that reality is that this doesn't change. And again, if you end up going around a curve, if it's a gyroscope that's fixed in space, and you end up going around a curve, then of course, what should happen to the gyro after a few hundred or a few thousand miles is that there should be some measurable difference if that gyro has maintained, but of course it doesn't. You know, that even if gravity was a thing in the globe sense, there's no way it would pull a gyro around, because that's not how they work. You know, the physics of a gyro, and the reason they work with aircraft and keep aircraft safe, is because they maintain their rigidity in space. Yeah, so the globe earther has to completely deny. My dog just chasing the cat. They usually get on okay, but yeah, they have to deny that. So, you know, it's like, let's just see it. Here's a ball. Here's whatever it is. It could be a gyro or whatever, you know. So the moment you start doing that, going around the side, then things go skew with. That change should be measurable. But they're telling you that even though in reality level is level, they're telling you, well, this magically goes around a ball. And again, we can all perceive it, we can all understand it, there's no problem there. Yeah, there's no dyscalculia going on when you talk about radius and angles and degrees and radians. It's all fine, it makes sense. Yeah, but does that fit with the reality? No, it doesn't. You know, that again, flat earth has never been falsified. Yeah, and flying and pilots prove it every day when they fly straight and level. Yeah, and they'll laugh at you because they think you don't understand the concept. They claim you don't understand the concept. Well, really, what the problem is they don't accept reality. Yeah, because they've got a belief. And of course, you know, someone who's got some kind of status will identify with that belief, and so in comes this Dysrationalia, because they will defend this irrational belief in the globe because they identify with it. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, even if it would be okay if the globe was taught us, okay, here's how we can just wrap all these coordinates into one model, but that doesn't necessarily say that that's reality. And when people talk about a working model, they haven't got a working. You don't have a working model if there's no curvature in reality. There is no curvature. Yeah. Right, let's get back down here. Ice Wall, is that Ice Wall Flat Earth? Hello, hello, da David Stanley. Live? Yes, we are live. Who's that? Lance A. I think it would have. I think it would have been leaked out by now. What would have been leaked out by now? Again, it's funny. People talk about how, it's such a big secret that you know people would have talked about it, or people would have. Well, no, this is it. You see, everyone's a believer. All these people with their you know, whether they're working in the field of science. I mean, we see it across the board. But whatever profession people are in, you know, they adopt that. If someone's working for Vogue, for example, then they will have to be, their entire life will have to be devoted to fashion. They'll have to spend their time and money on the right clothes to go to work in and things like that, yeah? So, I mean, they adopt that persona. And so, you know, we actually sometimes force ourselves to do this. We start off, maybe it feels a bit weird to start with, it's a bit of an effort, but eventually, you know, people just get into character and they forget that they're in character, yeah? We've just got to keep it real, yeah? So, yeah, this, you see it all over. That, again, that's what's so fascinating about this whole topic, because it's, and it's, you know, you're always going to have it. You're going to have so much contention. You're always going to have people fighting amongst themselves, and you just got to lead your own path, man. You just got to. Again, it comes down to realizing. Personally, it's just come down to realizing that there is a limit to our knowledge, and it's not defeatist to accept that, because the way I see it, it's just suffering. You're suffering more. You're suffering if you're trying to defend your global belief. You're suffering if you're trying to impress your belief on others, especially if you don't know that to be true. You know, measurably true. Yeah. And again, it's okay to just play around with concepts and imagine and theorize. That's fine. That's fine. Isn't it funny how men seem to do this more than women? Obviously, there are many females involved in the whole flat earth thing, but as a rule it's mostly men. And why is that? What's the difference between men and women there? Well, it figures to me that, you know, us men are kind of often we want to fix things. That's the male kind of mindset a lot of the time. We want to put things right, and so, you know, especially when our partner complains about something, we just feel like it's how can I fix this? What can I do? But for a woman, you see, the meaning of life is pretty obvious. It's to give birth to kids and raise them. That's their preoccupation. That's what they do. If a mother usually will just spend her waking hours doing everything for her family, right? Whereas the guy is a little bit different. Of course, we're you know, if you're a dedicated father, that you've got to do things in a different way. There are separate roles, right? And so I suppose what I'm saying is that for men, there's, you know, it's men really, isn't it, that perpetuate religion in many ways, and actually the women could be, you know, could resist, but of course the problem is that people rarely come together as a collective. This is one of the issues with actually getting a whole bunch of truth seekers to go off and explore, because how are you going to ensure that everyone really has a benevolent common mission to do that? You know, this is one of the obstacles. You know, you kind of need an organizer, you need some discipline, but at the same time you've got everyone just doing their own kind of showboating. So yes, Divergent Droid, agreed. I'm sorry, Lance, a negative view of humanity. I'm not sure if that was responding to someone else or or me. Dojo says, let's focus on their lies, the stars, a burning balls of fusion they claim. What is the counterclaim? Lance, I'm not sure what your thing is, or negative view of humanity. It's not a negative. I don't know if you're referring to me what I talked about with being, but it's no, it's just a realistic view of humanity. If you will encounter bad people in your lives, and again, it's not, people are not always bad because they intend to be bad. There's different levels of psychosis is the right word, really. Again, we just get caught up in beliefs, and people mess up all the time. People get angry for the wrong reasons, misunderstand each other all the time. That's just the nature of how it is. The problem is that, again, if you refer to animals, for example, you might see cats or dogs maybe have a little bit of a scrap. They might kind of but then they settle it down and carry on. It's just in the moment. There's no grudges. But us humans get very lost in our thoughts. It's I suppose you see, again, one of the goals of the whole kind of truth-seeking thing is not to be embroiled in all those thoughts, right? Our mind is, we constantly got this dialogue going on, and sometimes we don't even notice that. The mind is chattering away, the ego, there's all this stuff going on. And even noticing that to start with is difficult. Yeah, it's easy to see how beliefs affect other people. You look at people with strong beliefs, and whether it's militant Muslims or any kind of religion. Yeah, of course, there's extremes all over the place. Whether it's all these people trying to force their thing on other people. But it's very difficult to see that in ourselves, isn't it? Yeah. That's part of the truth-seeking journey. If we can identify the militant in ourselves. Lance says, you believe there is an ongoing conspiracy of people lying about the shape of the Earth. It's quite negative to me. Again, it's yes, of course you understood it. For all of us, it was all very difficult to, part of that waking up to reality is that realization that it's not all roses and rainbows. Yeah. Unfortunately, people lie, and they do so unwittingly. It's not to say that people are, all these people are evil. No. But unfortunately, that's human nature. We end up believing things that we can never confirm for ourselves. And it's not until you start really looking at that, and and then you realize, oh wow, yeah. And you look at how nasty, and it happens on both sides, if you like. I don't like to use the word sides, but there's globe Earth believers that are very, very nasty to flat earthers, and there's flat earthers that are very nasty to globe earthers and other flat earthers as well. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what has been revealed more starkly by us having these interactions online. It just kind of, and there are people trafficking children. There are people doing very, very evil things for their own gains. Whether it's there's horrible people do horrible things. Yeah, and there's much more going on than you would ever know. Yeah. For example, you might find it difficult to watch a wildlife documentary where a lion eats some poor defenseless gazelle or something, but sorry, that's reality. And it's just the way it is, and it happens among us as well. Yeah, there are entities, there are nasty people. It's just reality. Yeah, but the problem is that we get kind of caught up in our beliefs as well. It makes it worse. You know, we're not just consuming and eating for nutrition, for example, like a lion. Yeah, we're actually, you know, we take it to another level. Humans take it to this psychopathic level. Yeah, and again, it's just, yeah, it's a jungle out there. So it's not negative. It's just realistic. And again, you know, this comes with the truth seeking. You see that in yourself. I guarantee every single one of us, we lie to ourselves every single day. There are things we do, we make excuses. Yeah? Sometimes it's a struggle to keep, you know, not smoking, because you just make excuses for yourself. Oh, it'll be all right, you know. Yeah? We lie. We do that to ourselves. We lie. Yeah? Sorry, got to get this close to realise it. I'm sorry, I can't read the name, but it said, you saying I had my realization of the lies in the field of medicine when I had healed from cancer at home and witnessed a great upload of expensive misinformation on the treatment I had used. Yeah, okay, that is, again, yeah, like I was saying, this is one of the things, isn't it? You realize, again, doctors and nurses, they all have the best intentions. They you know, they are benevolent people, but unfortunately they've been trained to think in a certain way, not how to think necessarily, but what to think. And of course, there's some wonderful people that have saved lives and they're very caring, but again, sometimes they just get stuck in a system that is designed for profit, to keep people sick. Yeah, so you're right, it's like, that's an eye-opener. And it could be anything. It could be politics. It could be, you know, the fact that, again, you just look at the stupidity of people accepting what these politicians are doing. They lie. They outright lie. And we all know it. We kind of laugh and say, oh, politicians, you know, how do you tell if a politician's lying while his lips are moving? You know, we know this stuff, but they still get voted in. We put up with it. Yeah? Because actually we're pretty lazy. Yeah? And the convenience kills us. Yeah? Yeah, we've all been sucked into this kind of global thing. Yeah, globalization. The whole globe thing. It's a real. It's a machine. Yeah. You know, so say you've got this job with a fashion house or whatever it is you do. You know, and you do a great job and you get a good salary. But the moment you're gone, I mean, you're replaceable. Yeah, there's someone else that will come up through the ranks. Yeah. And they'll get used and abused. Try and keep up with the chat here. Issue. Lie unwittingly is nonsense, but I get what you mean. Yeah, obviously it depends. Again, it all comes down to definition of lying. But yeah. Come on, we lie to ourselves. Every single one of us lies to ourselves, or we make excuses, or we convince ourselves that we should or shouldn't do something. Yeah, a lot of the time. Yeah, or we ignore certain things. Happens to us all. It's an ongoing thing. You don't suddenly arrive at the truth and it stops there, right? That's the thing. It's an ongoing journey. Requires intent. Everything else is an untruth. Okay, an untruth. I see. All right. Yeah. Us. What's that? Us so far. What's the flat Earth? What's the flat Earth Dracula? Dracula is the flat earther. I don't understand. Okay. I'm not sure either. Hello, Lionheart. Dojo, let's take the globies at face value. So difficult to see. Sorry, these glasses are terrible. So are my eyes. It's true that a conspiracy requires everyone to be in on it. The question then is, how is the conspiracy held together given the number of people involved? Well, again, yeah, it's just, yeah, look at religions. Just look how many billions of people have a certain faith, or how many millions of people will vote for a particular political leader. Yeah, they've all just attached themselves to a belief, and you try and reason with them, and you cannot. They are stuck in there until something maybe drastic really personally affects them. Yeah, so it's everywhere. You just got to look around. It's everywhere. People holding on to beliefs. Yeah. Everywhere, everyone. Sorry, I'm having it. So, okay. Mr. Cheswick in here. Good to see you, my man. All right. Yeah, what's that? I think for every act of evil, there's a complete opposite. E.g., some people hurt elephants, some people help them. Same. That's a really good point. Yeah, I like that. Baz. Yeah. It's a real mix out there, isn't it? You know, it's funny. Yeah, it's not. For example, not everyone that smokes weed is a chilled out dude. Yeah, it's like yeah. Or you could go and do ayahuasca 10, 20, 30 times, and it doesn't necessarily change you that much. It's funny, people have these awakenings and things, but yeah. Okay, just got messages at the same time. I should have turned that off. Sorry about that. But yeah, you're right, man. You're right. It's just like some people are just evil. They're just heat of the moment stuff. A lot of the time, they just don't think, or it's all they know. Yeah, and of course, for someone else, yeah, some of us are compassionate, some of us are not. Then again, it takes all sorts for the world to go around like that, doesn't it? You know, sometimes you need people without that compassion to do something that needs to be done. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, whether it's and I mean, someone was asking about how can it be so widespread? But you know, for example, you look at, I don't know, the police force, for example, or the military. Then, of course, they have a vetting service, a process, because, well, there's only certain people they'll let in. You've got to be smart enough to look after yourself and make some good decisions, but not so smart that you see through the bullshit at the top. Yeah, you've got to be able to follow orders and do that. You know, you've got to be a type that would follow orders. And in some ways, you've got to be a little bit unthinking. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a policeman, and it was, you know, for I suppose, positive reasons. I wanted to help. You know, I wanted to be a kind of upstanding member of the community or whatever. But then, as I grew up, I realised that, wow, actually, I would end up having to do things that I didn't necessarily agree with. So that kind of started to put me off. I could see people around me that might, you know, sometimes they might be in trouble with the police. And then, they were okay people, yeah, and maybe victims of circumstance more than their own evilness, yeah. Yeah, so we went off the idea, yeah. I think I was just earlier on, just before I was going to mention this whole idea of a benevolent God is maybe a false idea. That's the thing. When you look at reality, suffering is the reality. Yeah, we're gonna experience pain. We're going to experience sickness. It's guaranteed, and we're going to die. Yeah, while we are experiencing this reality. That is the fundamental truth. Buddha called it the noble truth. Yeah, one of the first of the noble truths is that we experience suffering. So that's, when you look around us, that's evident, whether it's with people or with I'm just going to try and bloody mute this conversation. Oh, I can't. Where was I? Sorry. Yeah, we see the suffering all around us, right? That's just the way it is, and so we don't suffer from each other's the conflicts we have amongst ourselves, but we also suffer with the inner conflict, the conflict that's always going on with ourselves. And so we have a culture. That's the thing, we get brought up in a culture, we get brought up to have certain beliefs, and to break free of that can be very difficult. It's easy to see someone has been brought up in a real extreme cult, but then we're all affected in some way by the culture that we were born into, or our family, or whatever. There's just going to be things that we experience along the way that formulate our beliefs. So suffering is a given. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there is a benevolent God. I think, though, that you could say that the universe might have a plan for you, and sometimes we've got to. That's the thing. There might be. We get put into certain situations, and we can make choices. I think free will is a thing you can have there. It will send it. That's the wonderful thing about this, is that you can go off, and there are endless possibilities as where you can go. But I think one of the main objectives, personally, is just that, for example, we can often want to be somewhere else. We often have we might be in a absolutely fine situation. We've got our family and loved ones around us. We're in a nice place, but then in our minds we're thinking about, okay, wouldn't it be nice if I was in that situation, or I can't wait until I'm over there, or doing this or doing that. And so you're preoccupied, and that's a form of suffering, isn't it? Because you're not living in the moment, you're not enjoying the moment, or not appreciating the moment, because you're preoccupied with all these thoughts about how it could be or should be. And that's the thing. Sometimes the universe it's got its plan for you. You're doing your thing, you're making your way along, but it is going to be a decision that you make. Or not, as to whether sometimes we end up fighting those plans because of our preconceptions. So we end up suffering, and we do end up putting ourselves into crazy situations. So more chat going on there. People kind of chatting to each other. Is that September equinox is tomorrow? Okay. Our globe equinox makes no sense with the sunrise at 90 degrees east and the sun setting at 270 degrees west. Impossible. Alright, okay. Mishu is saying, when I get a cat or a dog or a cat, I'm basically granting it a life. Or when a mother births her child, we know the offspring will die and suffer no matter how much you care for it. Yeah, it's a good point. I was just talking to my daughter the other day. She's she's 15, 16, so dealing with all that teenage stuff, and I said, I'm sorry for bringing you into this world, because unfortunately you're going to have to deal with a lot of crap. It's not going to be an easy ride. So sorry about that, but we all got to deal with it. Oh dear. Mishu says the above is about God and its benevolence or lack of. I see, right, yeah. I suppose it's one of those, we're in this realm where all those things are possible. Good and evil are possible, and maybe there is no tipping point of whether it's going to be one way or the other. It's just that's what it is. That's what this place is. Who knows whether there are karmic implications? What if we have a life? I mean, of course, some people are born with disabilities and they suffer, and but then look at those guys. For example, there's these one guy in particular, I suppose I'm thinking of, that goes around and he does these talks. He has no legs, he has no arms, but he manages to do these talks, and he inspires so many people with his love of life, and just you know, when he's talking to these people that have got everything, but they're worried about everything too, and they're suffering. But he's just full of love and happiness, you know, despite having no limbs. It's amazing. And yeah, man, I don't know what is going on with the Skype at the moment. Sorry about that. I hope it's not interrupting the stream. Yeah. Hello, Callum. All right. Positive thinking. Yeah. 24 hour. Are you asking me? About the 24-hour sun? I believe it. Yeah. I mean, well, again, it's like, yeah, it could be light for 24 hours, or more in a row. Yeah, it doesn't really necessarily prove anything. I mean, again, as I was saying earlier on, if people are going to raise money to do the final experiment, then get that curvature measured. Yeah, that's simple. And then all of us flat earthers will shut up then. You know, we've got some measurable curvature, fine. But this is the thing, I think people actually enjoy having the argument, and they would rather keep it, or they don't want to solve it. So, I mean, perpetuating this idea of going to see a sun, I mean, I've said all I want to say on that topic anyway. It's just, yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, you don't really know where Antarctica is. All we've got are these maps that, you know, have this antipodal position to the North Pole. How many of us have been to the North Pole or South Pole? And do you remember when we were doing the sun tracking? There was a whole bunch of people that joined in to track the sun. And Antonio Subratz at the time, he drew up a map which kind of, you know, when it seemed that based on the times and the positions and the people saw the sun, rather than the time zones, the actual time, you know, the map that ended up being created was this one that had more of a kind of swirl, or a more direction. I think South Africa kind of went off in kind of westward direction. I think the tip of South America. Yeah. For example. So yeah, the maps. I mean, this is it. We've been given these maps, and of course we're all so familiar with the maps. It's hardwired into us, whether it's the apparent size of Greenland or Russia and Africa and things like this. All just like totally distorted. But that's what's impressed upon our minds from an early age. I don't show my kids any maps really. Yeah. I wouldn't mind having a Gleason's map, but again, I know that that's not necessarily how it is. Yeah, so we've got people just making assumptions about what is or isn't possible based on what? Based on unverifiable information that we've been given. Yeah. So yeah. What and so this whole argument about the sun is just ludicrous. It'd be interesting, fine, okay, whatever sun you see in the south, I mean Antarctica, fine, but I mean, already reached kind of, well, not conclusions, but acceptance that the sun is still a very mysterious thing, just like the moon. If you want to argue about curvature, the Earth being curved, then, and this is it. You know, if you're being truly scientific and you want to confirm your model by going and seeing a 24-hour sun in the south, then well, okay, great. Now verify it. Now do the science. Now do the cross-referencing. Now find the curvature that you believe exists in between. And if you've got, I mean, it's just, oh dear, it's so funny what they're doing. It just shows. I think it's a comedy show. I think it's quite funny to see how these globers are just latching on to this so-called experiment, because it's just another diversion. It's just another excuse to avoid actually doing a measurement of curvature. Yeah. Mr. Cheswick, globers get butthurt if we don't have a map because they have no ammo to. That's a good point. Yeah. And again, this is just about accepting that it's all unknown, right? Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's fine. That's absolutely fine to be in that position where you could say, I don't know. Be nice to find out, but again, I mean, a lot of that is a distraction, isn't it? Yeah. finding out this and finding out that. To what extent? I mean, bloody hell, it's already, I mean, a lot of us have been involved in this for like 10 years already, and it's like, shit, you know, you you look how old we've got from that. You look back at videos made 5-10 years ago, and it's like, wow, we've all aged. And so what are we doing? We're just kind of okay, great, putting content out there that maybe our kids might see or appreciate later on if it stays up there. Other people might appreciate, and they can take what they like and don't like, and that's fine. I mean, you know, I'm not expecting everyone to agree with what I say. It's fine, discussion's fine, and you can take it or leave it, yeah, whatever. That's cool. It's just nice to be sharing these ideas, and sometimes you hear someone say something that you agree with, and you think, it's nice to know that there's other people out there thinking or feeling the same way, right? So that's cool. But at the same time, yeah, if we are preoccupied with too much of this baiting and trying to prove a point and stuff, we are missing out on the now, on the present. Yeah, it's kind of destructive. Yeah, it does suck you in, you know, and it's good, it's stimulating. But it's also very easy to get stuck in a rut again if you're not careful. Yeah, so it's very bright. You're addicted to seaweed. Is that right? I must. Seek help. No, sorry. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Trying to clean the glasses here. Devon, everyone uses a map that is distorted in some sort of way. Yeah, all cartographers admit that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So when again, this is the thing, isn't it, with the final experiment, when they're talking about a map as a model and they haven't even got that right. Again, it's just a complete load of nonsense. And what's that stone? What we currently believe the sun to be. But you know, whatever you believe the sun to be, you don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Is it there by accident? No, it's there for a reason. It's there for providing life on this earth. That's all you got to do. If you just flip that around from the accident, the cosmic accident, to a deliberate thing. So we don't know why and we don't know how, but yeah, there's definitely a reason. There's definitely a point to it. Yeah. So it would be, you know, of course. So I think, you know, that's the mission. Is it try to understand the point? Yeah. What's that? The rig or the big? You still in denial all these years later? Denial of what? What's that? The only thing the flat earthers fear is fear itself. Fear. No, again, you know, this is it. It's like, as I've said many, many times, if there's some globers in here, yeah, if just one of you can demonstrate that something like this, stays level as it goes around a curved earth, I would happily accept it. No problem at all. Yeah. The problem is none of you guys can actually provide that. Yeah. None of you will do that. You'll just, you know, you'll say, oh, you're stupid for not being able to perceive or understand that level is curved. No, we understand the concept, but you've got to prove the concept. Falsify flat earth with a measure of curvature. That's all we've got to do. None of this. Anything else is just distractions. Anything else is just you making excuses. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the difference. I mean, a flat earther just doesn't. You know, we're not jumping from one belief to another. Well, I'm not anyway. Yeah, it's just it's demonstrably level. Yeah, it's demonstrably not curved. Yeah, the globe is easily falsified because there is no curve. Yeah, so yeah, you can make all the chit chat you want, all the sarcasm you like. Doesn't change the fact that the Earth is measured level. Right, someone, Mr. Cheswick, what are you saying there? Do you ever wonder what truth is bloody hell buried in the... So, I'm so sorry about this. Ugh! It's frustrating. Buried in the tombs of the Vatican. That were, yeah, you know, I mean, obviously they control so much, don't they? I wonder. But again, you know, it's in, you know, that moment in Star Wars. I know it's a weird analogy, but you know when the I suppose it was one of the last Star Wars, was it? I can't remember even the name of it. Where Luke goes back to the Jedi Temple and he destroys all the books. He burns it, yeah, and Yoda's there just laughing, because that's the thing. It doesn't matter what books and things and treasures you have. The treasure is right here. The knowledge is right here in the heart. Yeah, we know this is it. You know, if you're a truth seeker, you're you know, you've opened up to that, right? It's the wisdom, the universal wisdom. Yeah, so that never goes away. We can all tap into it. That's the thing. I mean, just look at it. I mean, just look at the, you know, again, going back to animals, you know, they come out, they get born, or they come out of the egg, and they know how to walk, and they know how to eat, and a bird will eventually learn how to fly, and so do we. We end up learning to walk and things like that. Yeah, it's just incredible. Yeah, so. And then we can learn by ourselves, just by observing reality, the whole Zen thing, observing nature and reality. And we can philosophize internally. So we don't need books, we don't need gurus, we just need, what we need is the silence. We need to be aware of the distractions and the way that beliefs can form and alter our opinions and things, yeah? And ultimately we can be free of that, yeah, free of those distractions, which is kind of that unique trait in humans, isn't it, I suppose? Yeah. So yeah, it would be interesting. That would be interesting. I mean, yeah, maybe they've got accounts of, oh gosh, who knows? But I suppose that's kind of what's happened, isn't it? You know, there's things that have been saved over whether there have been floods and things like that. Things have been saved, and how many times has that empire risen and fallen, or just kind of gone into hiding? Yeah, and again, yeah, it's very much about mind control, isn't it? You know, all those people that are Catholic around the world. I mean, many of the people in I think the Philippines, for example, is mostly Catholic. Yeah, you know, they've got everywhere. Yeah. But Mr. Cheswick, I will message you maybe at some point. I can still SMS you. All right. Okay. All right. Well, this has been okay. My battery's going to run down fairly soon. I just charged it up before coming out. Okay, one more question there, Richard. No, what's that? Okay, Phuket word. I know it's off topic, but can I hear old? Oh, do you mean can you hire old Lambrettas in Thailand? Yeah, I see them about. Yeah. There's some people that do they look after the classic bikes. So they've got these modern ones as well. But yeah, there's a few of the older ones. Yeah, and the kind of like the old Hondas as well. The classic. Yeah, there's a lot of them. So yeah, you can find those. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up, man. Thanks so much for coming in. It's so yeah. Dyscalculia is whatever, but got, got to look at the word again. Dysrationalia. Keep that in mind. That's the word for the day. Dysrationalia. D-Y-S rationalia. Yeah. Dysrationalia. Yeah. So we're just gonna kind of go through life making sure that we're not suffering from dysrationalia. It doesn't matter how smart you think you are. It happens to the best of us. Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, nice joke there. How do flat earthers travel the world on a plane? Yeah. All right. You take care. Yeah. Good to see you all. Thanks ever so much for coming in. And yeah, so much more to talk about. But I just thought it'd be nice to do a live one while it's some nice weather. So you take care. Have yourself a good weekend, and we'll speak soon. Okay. Take care. Cheers.